The snow was coming down so hard it looked like the sky itself had shattered into a million white shards. By midnight, the entire town was sealed under a frozen blanket. Roads were closing. Cars were abandoned. The sheriff's voice crackled over the emergency radio. All non-essential travel is banned. Stay home, stay safe. But Mark Dalton wasn't going home. His brown Ups truck groaned against the wind, tires spinning as they clawed for grip. Inside, on the passenger seat, was a single package, a box barely the size of a shoebox, yet heavier than anything Mark had ever carried. He knew exactly what was inside, and he knew that without it, a little girl might not live to see the morning. 12 hours earlier, Mark had been sorting packages at the depot like any other day. He'd been a driver for 26 years, seen every kind of delivery from wedding dresses to Christmas miracles. But when his supervisor handed him that small white label package, he spoke in a voice Mark had never heard before. This one, it's critical. It's a medical shipment. Needs to get to Cedar Pine Road tonight. Kid's life depends on it. Mark glanced at the address. He knew Cedar Pine Road, a dead-end street on the far edge of town. By nightfall, with the storm warnings, it would be nearly impossible to reach. He hesitated, not because of the danger, but because the name on the package wasn't familiar. He'd spent his career delivering to the same neighborhoods, the same faces. But this, it was out past the forest line. Still, Mark remembered something. A hospital room, 15 years ago. His own daughter, pale and hooked up to machines, waiting for a courier to deliver the medicine she needed. It had arrived in the nick of time, from a stranger who'd driven through a hurricane to bring it. Mark didn't forget debts like that. Back in the present, the blizzard roared like an angry ocean. Power lines snapped in the distance, sparking blue against the whiteout. Mark's wipers screeched across ice-crusted glass. He gripped the wheel tighter, his knuckles burning white. Twice, he had to stop and dig snow away from the truck's wheels. Once, he nearly slid off the shoulder into a frozen ditch. Every mile was a battle, and in between each mile, the memories crept in. The night his daughter's fever spiked so high, he thought they'd lose her. The doctor's voice saying, "We can't do anything until the medication gets here." His wife's tears, the way the nurse's eyes lit up when the courier finally came through the door. Soaked and shaking, but holding the package like it was the most precious thing in the world. He remembered telling that man thank you 100 times, but somehow, it had never felt like enough. By 10 p.m., most of the main roads were impassable. The GPS rerouted him down smaller and smaller lanes, each one narrower, darker, and more treacherous. Then just before the last turn, Mark saw something strange through the snow. A pickup truck, nose down in a ditch, hazard lights flashing. A figure was slumped behind the wheel. Every second mattered. If he stopped, he might lose his chance to deliver the package on time. But if he didn't, someone could die here in the cold. Mark pulled over, yanked on his coat, and fought his way through knee-deep snow to the driver's side. The man inside was conscious, but bleeding from a head wound. Dazed from the crash, Mark radioed for help, wrapped the man in his emergency blanket, and wedged the door shut to block the wind. "Hang tight," he told him. "Help's coming." It cost him 20 minutes, but it cost him far more when he got back to the UPS truck and found the engine groaning, refusing to turn over in the cold. For a moment, Mark thought he'd lost, that the girl on Cedar Pine Road would never see her package. But quitting wasn't in his blood. He grabbed the box, zipped it into his parka, and started walking. Mile after mile, the storm pelted his face, freezing the sweat on his skin. His boots slipped on the ice. His breath came in ragged bursts. But the thought of a little girl, somewhere out there, waiting for him, kept his legs moving. At last, he saw the faint glow of a porch light through the snow. He staggered up the driveway, pounded on the door, and a man in flannel pajamas yanked it open. Mark could barely speak. He held out the package with trembling hands. "For her," he gasped. The man stared first at the package, then at Mark's frostbitten face, and something in his eyes changed. "You," the man whispered. "You saved me." Mark blinked. "What?" The man stepped closer. 12 years ago. Car wreck. Near Route 8. You pulled me out before the fire spread. I never forgot your face." Mark's mind flashed back. The twisted wreck. The flames. The man coughing in the snow. He'd been just another person who needed help. Mark hadn't even known his name. And now, the man was holding the package like it was sacred. "This is for my daughter," he said. "She's got a rare immune disorder. This medicine, it means she sees her next birthday." The little girl appeared in the doorway then, small, pale, wearing a knitted hat. She smiled at Mark, and for a second, he saw his own daughter, 15 years ago. Mark didn't remember much after that. The man pulled him inside, wrapped him in blankets, and called for medical help. But through the fog of exhaustion, Mark felt something deep in his chest, a weight he'd been carrying for years, suddenly lifting. Because in that moment, he understood. The circle was complete. A stranger had once saved his child's life. Tonight, he had returned that gift, and discovered that sometimes, the lives we touch come back to touch ours in ways we never see coming.